Welcome back, Kuma Crew. It is once more your favorite friendly despair bear, Annakuma, and I'm back for another micro review of a small demo from the February Next Fest, because I can and I shall. Today we'll be looking at Fast Sword Publishing's point-and-click game, Harold Rabbit, Finder of Lost Things. Now, my micro reviews tend to be for puzzle games or walking simulators that don't have much to them to discuss. We get a general idea of the story and can talk about how it was presented, but the gameplay is pretty simple. Point and clicks tend to be a little on the meatier side, so why is this one going to be a micro review? Looking at the word count, it didn't end up being a micro review, but we'll see. Simply because it is just very simple. If you saw the thumbnail, I have to say the art style gives away the kind of game you'll have on your hands. We play as Harold, a childlike detective rabbit who is on his morning routine. He wakes everyone up with his little trumpet, then he goes on a quest to find his pen that has been hidden by his friend Maud. It took just about 10 minutes to finish the demo, and most of that was because I forgot I picked up a magnifying glass. You know, magnifying glasses, to help me see things I couldn't at that point see. There isn't much to see in this demo, but it was kinda cute. I don't see Harold being a game for hardened adventure gamers looking for a challenge. In fact, it feels much more like something you would give to a child to get them into the genre. That could change in the full game. It could end up being, you know, a Cthulhu-based horror thing, but it gave me more Freddy Fish vibes than anything else. Harold is fine as a character, like he's just fine. I can see him being annoying for adults, but he's just a normal childlike character. He's friends with everyone, does nice things for the sake of being nice, even though one of those nice things is waking everyone up at the brink of dawn, just because he can. It is why I'm certain the game is aimed at little kids. It is very kidified, and that's fine. Again, not everything has to be aimed at adults. I just don't think Harold is going to be a character many adults will like through a full game. It looks beautiful though, and whilst the art style was nothing like this, it did remind me of Winnie the Pooh and things like Rupert Bear from when I was a kid. It just looks friendly and interesting. It is very simplistic, and I'm gonna say simple or simplistic or variations of the word throughout this game, because that is just how it feels. It looks simplistic in that it looks like illustrations for kids. Big open green areas, very little but very pretty detailing, and so on and so forth. But I loved it. It was extremely nostalgic. Like, the art was what made me decide to even download the demo, and I had this warm feeling playing through it. Gameplay-wise, it wasn't bad. The inventory is the main problem. Now, I love that the inventory is a little book. It has a cute little way of doing it and unique to the game. Harold loves books. He loves to write things in a notebook, so having the inventory be a book was really well done. Problem is, clicking on things is a little difficult. It is the usual left click to pick up, right to look, and I found right clicking to look worked perfectly, but sometimes I had to click multiple times to pick up the item in the inventory. It was mainly the clues though. I didn't have much trouble picking up the magnifying glass, and I don't know if it was just something off with the hitboxes of the notes in general, but it was very clunky. You do get a hotspot indicator, which is kind of important in the game, and let me tell you why. So we have the very common now changeable cursor. You'll go over a hotspot and it will tell you to look. Harold will then talk about it, and if you can interact the next time you hover over said hotspot, it will be a paw to pick up or a mouth to speak to it. One problem is, and the game even tells you this, that if, for example, you need the magnifying glass to look at something, it won't pop up as a hotspot with your cursor. We shall use the first clue as an example. I guessed instantly that the first clue was going to be a book. I moved my cursor over the screen to find a book to interact with, but we get nothing. I move on thinking I'll find it later. I come back and check the hotspot detector to see that there is indeed a hotspot on the books, but I can't interact with it. Even with the magnifying glass in hand, it doesn't indicate that there is a hotspot being interacted with. Therefore, the hotspot detector is needed for people to know exactly what it is you are meant to be interacting with at any given point. Because the game doesn't tell you what you can interact with at times, and I don't like this. Don't get me wrong, I get what they were going for, but hotspot detectors shouldn't be a crutch people need to use to know what to do. You need to make it obvious that these books were being interacted with at some point. It isn't a huge negative because again, the game does warn you about this in the tutorial, but I don't think it should be baked into a game that you have to use hotspots to figure out what can and can't be interacted with. It is getting into the realms of pixel hunting that nobody likes. And if this game is aimed at children, this is going to be so confusing for them as well. It harks back to very negative game design that killed the point-and-click genre. And also, I'm not going to say this game is going to kill the genre or that it's super bad to do it this way. I just don't think it's needed. This is the game's main problem though. The point-and-clicking aspect of the point-and-click adventure game is clunky and unreliable. Now, the game itself is easy enough, and when you know how to play it, I'm sure it'll be a breeze. But as someone who grew up with the genre, it was kinda sad to see the game feel so off in the way it was played. It won't put me off though. I feel this is something that will take you out of the game for the entirety of this demo, but by the end of it, I had just accepted this is what my life was and got on with it. No doubt there is a charm to this game that will make many want to play it. It is simple, as I keep saying, and it looks like it will be a grand adventure. It doesn't look like it'll be too long. The main game looks like you'll be trying to find out who took it. There is a pause here that I will edit out because I don't know if I actually said what was missing, and I'm reading this months after playing the game, and I'm sat here like, did I ever say what they took? Was it the trumpet? I think it was the trumpet. It might be the trumpet. We're finding out who stole the trumpet. Maybe. Maybe I should have looked this up. Who knows? Trumpet. Maybe. Trumpet. Nothing is game-breaking or frustrating, just a little on the annoying side, but passable. What makes me care about the game is that it does feel like a return to adventure games for every age. I miss the days of Pajama Sam and Freddy Fish, where adventure games did get aimed at younger audiences too. Just some fun puzzles and an interesting concept that even kids can get into. It's something missing in the genre nowadays, where horror, sci-fi, murder mysteries and the like really thrive. We do get fun games, but they often come out of people's love for LucasArts games. And whilst they are good for kids too, they don't aim for that target either. Obviously, I am in love with the current adventure game landscape, but it is nice, even if the game is a little unpolished, to have a game I can just stick on for my niece that feels aimed at her as well as me. I think it's why Duck Detective was so beloved, because people could very much just stick it on for a kid, and they don't need to know references to 90s media, or worry about being scared, or just not get jokes because they went over their head all the time. So whilst the game might have felt a little broken to me, I didn't even go into the dialogue boxes, which annoyed me no end because I wanted them to go faster, so clicked the skip and forward and kept missing dialogue. It is a nice breath of fresh air to see something that's just innocent and trying to be fun. Which is why this micro review turned into a much longer review, and I won't be changing me calling it one to show how I originally looked at a 10-minute long demo and went, I have nothing to say about this, and then ended up talking about it as long as I would have a fully fleshed out adventure game demo. Again, it is a bit clunky, the dialogue and story aren't going to be super interesting to adults, and everything is very cute. Simple and bright, but Fast-Sold Publishing, you got my interest. Harold is making his grand debut sometime in April 2025. As of recording this, it came out like last week as well, so it is out. I don't know when this review will be out or when I'll be playing it, but I do hope to play it sometime in 2025. We just have to hope the review comes out in 2025 too. I'm hoping. I'm recording in April, just after it came out, so here's hoping. That is all for Harold for today though. If you want to support this bear here, who does not have a trumpet, please leave a like, let me know how you'd feel being woken up by a trumpet every morning, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at twitch.tv/Annakuma, where I play games 5 days a week, and do point and clicks pretty much every Monday. Until next time though, thank you for watching as always, and bye bye.